Um, I'm John Cameron, and I'm going to give the Avalon updates. I'm the product owner for Avalon Media System, and the digital media service manager for IU Libraries. And first, as always, Avalon Media System is a Samphera application. It's a streaming audio and video access platform, specifically for the needs of libraries and archives. It has a lot of access control features. And basically is set up to make the work of transcoding and streaming the media itself very easy and hook into other workflows that are available at your institution. And it has been supported in the past by grants from Mellon, IMLS, and is primarily currently developed at Indiana University. Um, So, yeah, oops, there we go. So in addition to Avalon, we have RAMP, which is our library of media components that we use for rendering things on the page. RAMP is basically a big library of components that you can arrange on the page however you like. It includes things like the media player, display of descriptive metadata, transcript viewer, and many other things. So we work on this library and use it within Avalon. It uses IIIF Presentation 3.0 manifests, which contain all of the information about the object, reads that, and then renders everything out on the page. So it's meant to be a very lightweight and AV focused sort of IIIF media library. And we do use IIIF a lot in Avalon. So we have several APIs from IIIF that are implemented. So presentation 3, and also the authentication API and content search API, which we've added for searching within transcript documents that are stored within Avalon. And we have a lot of different pieces of software within Avalon that use IIIF. So we were trying to be as interoperable as possible. So we've got quite a few releases since the last time I did this update for Samphera Connect. Two big releases and then a couple of bug fixes. Walk through the changes that we've had here. For 8.0, which came out last year, the big thing here is dependency upgrades. So we've done a lot of work to really make sure that we're staying ahead of all the dependencies in the application to make sure that all of the people who use Avalon have everything up to date. So this one was a big one because we went from Fedora 4 to Fedora 6, which we had our eye on for a long time. In addition to updating the Rails and Ruby versions that we were using within Avalon. And then we added a bunch of new features. So we use Browse Everything for navigating and selecting files, and we added the ability to use SharePoint as a source within that. We have a lot of files institutionally that are within SharePoint OneDrive, and so that was an important feature for us. We also added some changes to make streaming handle a little differently for cases where you might have a lot of existing MP3 files or other things that you want to stream directly without having Avalon transcode it in the manner that it usually would. And then just kind of different things about descriptive metadata, links within the application. We've been doing a lot of updates to navigation to make it easier for people to use and then kind of make it easy for people to search as well. So updating our index, improving performance across the application. There were a lot of things that had gotten slow as Avalon is sort of like chugged along. So we spent a lot of time updating Solr queries, getting load times down, basically really trying to make it as responsive as possible, especially for objects that have many child session sections, which is kind of a difficult one for us. So that was really positive work. And then we did a bug fix release afterward that fixed a lot of minor issues. But our most recent release is Avalon 8.1, which again is sort of very heavy on dependency upgrades. So another Rails upgrade. But this one came with Blacklight 8, which upgrades to Bootstrap 5. And so there were a lot of changes required for us to do that. And so we're running, this newer version of Blacklight, which has allowed us to sort of develop in an easier way. We're also using the latest version of RAMP 4, and then we updated the Ruby again. So this allowed us, again, we can do, current blacklight features like adding this text filter field for our modals, since we have a lot of metadata fields and filtering and searching within that just made it a lot easier in Avalon due to that. Yeah, we also spent a lot of time working on WCAG compliance. So a lot of the pages have had tons of small tweaks to make sure that accessibility checkers give the thumbs up, and we are actually compliant. So we basically are continuing to work on that. And then again, better response speeds. And this one is interesting. We've added the ability for non-media binaries to be added to an Avalon record for download. And we've added, just in addition to this, sort of letting the browser handle things rather than the application handle things. But basically, making it easier for people to upload, download, and view PDFs or other supplemental text files that generally would open in the browser or be presented in that way. We also in 8.1 added a bunch of changes to metadata fields. So we've continued to add or remove requirements on different metadata fields as time has gone on. And so this is coming out of requests from catalogers and other people where we've changed, one, the fields that are available, and two, the way that Avalon will do a bib import by default from a C3950 service. So we've updated all these mappings. So people who have music libraries would probably be most interested in this, but it's something that we're continuing to do, add required fields that users request and be able to map them from catalogs as needed. And then we did a small bug fix release for 8.1.1. There's a nasty bug that prevented saving in certain instances. And then also this one was something that's going to be very near and dear to us, which is, bots hitting anything that's open. And if the service isn't configured, it'll just get slammed. So yeah, in addition to the Avalon releases, like I said, 3.3 was in Avalon 8 and ramp 4 is in Avalon 8.1. And there's a lot of different changes here, mostly to small UI elements. Did a lot of refactoring, increased support for annotations or different sort of arbitrarily nested structures that might be used to define a particular item. And basically just trying to add more support for IIIF manifests that are out in the wild so that if you load a IIIF manifest in ramp, you can be sure that it's being presented in sort of the way that you expect. So a couple of screenshots of the annotations component that was added for ramp 3.4. So this is an example from AV Annotate, who we've worked with on their grant project to basically make sure that we're interoperable and that these kind of manifests where people are marking up these media files with all sorts of metadata or annotations can be presented and rendered by ramp. Okay. So yeah, next up, Avalon 8.2 will be the next release. We've done a world of work for our asset pipeline updates. So this is kind of in tandem with all of the dependency upgrades we've been doing, trying to make sure that all of the many libraries and dependencies that we have are able to either get upgraded as needed or get deprecated within the application. Some other big things in Avalon upcoming are audio description, so support for extra tracks or text or audio for audio description of media files. And then a change to the way we handle unit objects. So right now, units aren't full objects. And some of the management and permission inheritance, the way that it works in Avalon is different than some other Samvera applications. And basically, we need to add a little bit to make management easier for people who are collection managers operating within the usual auth context where they need to add and remove people per organization rather than per collection. And then accessibility. So there's a lot that we need to continue to work on to meet accessibility requirements, both workflows to, for example, let people who are using Avalon know which of the items in the repository have transcripts or other supplemental materials that would meet accessibility requirements or not. And then again, just sort of increased WCAG compliance across the application. and hopefully eventually getting a VPAT written. And then a few other things are improved analytics tools support is something that's been requested and that we're going to be looking at. And then RAMP, this is already underway, but um, as a JavaScript library that we want to be available through npm, having our build process and making sure that we're on supported React versions is important for that. So that work continues. Yeah, so we have a big community. There are a lot of institutions using Avalon. We have a list on our website, and we're working with Michigan State currently on a new implementation for them. We do have a monthly roundtable meeting where users are invited to come just to see what's new in Avalon or talk with us about different things. And then we have a public Slack channel in Samvera Slack that anyone can come in and ask a question. Yeah, so you can get in touch with us a number of different ways, mailing lists, our website. And then demo.avalonmediasystem.org goes to our demo instance that runs in the cloud, and you can request an account there and try it out. Thank you very much.